Welcome back to Sabrina's workshop. Today I'm going to be building an aliens-themed book Nook. So I used a sci-fi paperback book I thought was appropriate and a 28mm figure to work out the correct dimensions. I used basswood for the frame instead of balsa wood since it's a little sturdier. I used basic super glue to glue the frame together and I got a nice little book Nook size box. If I were to do this again, I would have just put together the three sides, but oh well. I used XPS foam and my hot wire cutter to make the walls of the cavernous space, and then use my hot wire cutter to give it some extra texture. I made sure that those fit inside the box and made a little floor piece for it as well. I used corrugated paper for the sides of the walls that aren't the rock texture, and I also used some of the cross-stitching plastic for the metal floor. I really like the effect of this when it's cut diagonally. Since super glue melts foam, I use hot glue to glue the walls in place. Next it's time for some texturing, so I use plaster, Mod Podge, and paint, and a little bit of water to make some nice texturing goop. Delicious. And then I spread this mess onto the inside of the cave walls and a little bit on the outside too, just to fill everything in. You can't have aliens without alien eggs, so I use Play-Doh. I bought the Sulaco Survivors model kit because it had this tiny Ripley and Nook. The names on these figures are delightful. Once Ripley, Nook, and the flamethrower were united with super glue, it was time to give it a spray prime with my airbrush. I went ahead and painted the inside of the book Nook as well. I know that all the people that actually paint minis are just cringing right now. I'm sorry. I painted and glued all the little alien eggs in place. So I didn't want to get a figure of the alien queen because all I really needed was a silhouette. So I took a few images and traced them in Procreate on my iPad and just got an amalgam of what I wanted and then sized it to about the correct size for 28mm. I just kind of eyeballed the dimensions. I wanted to make sure that it looked big and scary in contrast with Nook and Ripley on the other side. I do have a printer. I could have printed this out, but I honestly didn't trust my printer enough, and I kind of enjoyed just doing it freehand. And there she is. Next up were the lights. I diffused the LEDs with some blue marker. I'm not sure it really helped, but I wanted to make sure that the light was diffused and had a cool tone. I measured out about how much I'd need for the back of the box and then tested everything. I laid out my circuit the way that I wanted it and then soldered everything in place. I tested a different couple types of plastic And I ended up going with clear plastic that I painted with a blue marker. Then I added black electrical tape around the edges to hide the lights. Added some hot glue on the ceiling for some cobweb effects, and then added a frame on the outside of the box. I also made a little holder on the back for the 9-volt battery. I also wanted Ripley's flamethrower to be lit up, so I took a couple of different flickering LEDs and used the smallest one, and then wired that along her leg and out the side of the box to a coin cell battery. I painted everything black and touched up some spots, and Book Nook was done. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like it and subscribe for more builds from Sabrina's Workshop.